Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today I'm going to be doing my Houston Rockets 2023-24 record predictions. I know the Rockets schedule was announced a little bit back. I think the schedule was announced a week ago, wasn't it? Yeah, it was about a week ago that the NBA schedule was announced, and we got to see the Rockets schedule. I'm really excited for this season. You got some really exciting games, in my opinion. I gotta be honest, I am a little upset that the Rockets only have 4 national television games, and only one of those games is on ESPN, TNT, or ABC. The 3 other ones are on NBA TV. I know this team was very bad last year, but look at how much better it is. They're one of the best young teams in basketball. They added in Ime Udoka, head coach. They added in the following players: Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, Jock Landale, Jeff Green, Amen Thompson, and Cam Whitmore in the draft, who were guys that Cam Whitmore was expected to go, top 8 in the draft, and he fell to 20 in the Rockets. He won Summer League MVP. Amen Thompson, the 4th overall pick in the draft. You also have Jalen Green, the 2nd overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Jabari Smith Jr., the 3rd overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft. You have Alperen Sengun, who is one of the most solid youngest stars you'll find at the center position in the NBA at 20 years old. And, this is just a really solid basketball team. You got other players like Kevin Porter Jr., the Rockets are very underrated. But we're going to be going over my record predictions for the Houston Rockets in the 2023-24 season. Let's go over it. So, we're going to go over all 82 games, including the play-in tournament games, and let's get into it. So, starting with game number 1 against the Orlando Magic, this game will be this game starts at 6 o'clock. And this game is in Orlando. I have the Houston Rockets starting this season on a high note, getting a win in Orlando. I think this will be a very close game. I see the Rockets winning this ball game by the 6 to 8 win margin. I think the Orlando Magic have a really solid team. I think they're going to be better this year, but I think the Rockets are a little bit better, and I think the Rockets will be able to get a win. Then October 27th, the Rockets are now 1-0, and they face the San Antonio Spurs at 7 o'clock at AT&T Center in San Antonio. This will be the first time the Houston Rockets match up against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. I have the Houston Rockets going into San Antonio and getting a win to start off 2-0 in the season. And then this is where the homestand begins. This is one of my favorite parts of the 2023-24 schedule, where there's a 7-game homestand for the Houston Rockets, which also includes a couple play-in games as well. And let's get started. It's the first home game of the 2023-24 season, and it's the Golden State Warriors. You would think here I'd give the Houston Rockets their first loss of the 2023-24 season, but no, I'm not going to. I have the Houston Rockets winning their home opener against the Golden State Warriors. Why? This is a back-to-back for the Golden State Warriors. This game is on October 29th, 2023. The Warriors face the New Orleans Pelicans on October 30th, 2023. Last year, earlier in the season, you saw the Golden State Warriors rest a lot of their starters and their star players during back-to-backs. You would see the Warriors, whenever they'd have a back-to-back night, that you would see Steph Curry. You'd see guys like Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins be rested on a back-to-back. So I would think the Warriors would probably rest their star players against the Rockets than against the Pelicans. So I would expect Klay Thompson, probably Andrew Wiggins, and even Draymond Green, maybe not Stephen Curry, to be resting in this game, which makes it a little bit easier to beat the Warriors, and especially it being the home opener for the Houston Rockets. I think the Houston Rockets surprisingly beat the Golden State Warriors if the Warriors rest their players on a back-to-back, which you saw the Warriors do that a lot last season earlier in the year. You'd see Steve Kerr rest Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins in a back-to-back situation. Then your second home game against the Charlotte Hornets. I know, call me crazy, but I have the Houston Rockets going 4-0. This game is at Toyota Center as well for the second game of a 7-game homestand. I have the Rockets beating the Charlotte Hornets on November 1st and going 4-0. But this is where the Rockets take their first loss of the season. November 4th, 2023, I have the Houston Rockets losing to the Sacramento Kings. This game's at 7 o'clock at Toyota Center. Then November 6th, I have the Houston Rockets beating the Sacramento Kings. You're gonna play, the same team. You're gonna play the same team at the same place. I think the Rockets. I have a feeling that the November 4th game, you had some time off before that game. You had 2 days. You had an extra day of rest going into that game. I honestly think the November 4th game against the Sacramento Kings will be a very bad night. I could see the Rockets losing that November 4th game that I said would be the Rockets' first loss of the season, losing that game by like over 10 points. So I think the Rockets are going to bounce back on November 6th in the second game against the Kings. They're going to find their mistakes from the previous game against the Kings and find a way to win, and they're going to start the season 5-1. But then a couple losses start to hit for the Houston Rockets. I have the Rockets losing to the Los Angeles Lakers. I have the Rockets losing to the Los Angeles Lakers at home at Toyota Center at 7 o'clock. So now you're 5-2. Then the New Orleans Pelicans. I believe this is this the play-in tournament? I think this is. I'm pretty sure this is the play-in tournament. I might be wrong though. No, that's not the play-in tournament. No, that is the play-in tournament. So the New Orleans Pelicans at home at Toyota Center. I have the Houston Rockets. I'm gonna say the Rockets lose to the New Orleans Pelicans during the play-in tournament, and now the Rockets are sitting at 5-3. And then the last game of a 7-game homestand, I have the Rockets losing to the NBA champions at 6 o'clock at Toyota Center to the Denver Nuggets. So now the Rockets are at 5-4 after a 5-1 start, and they've dropped 3 games in a row. Then their second play-in tournament game against the Los Angeles Clippers. I have the Houston Rockets losing to the Clippers in a play-in tournament game, and now they're 5-5 and lost 4 games in a row. And then let's just keep the losing going because I have the Rockets losing to the Lakers on the 19th and the Warriors on the 20th in Golden State and in Los Angeles. And now the Houston Rockets continue to lose ball games, and now they are 5. Losing to the Clippers is 5-5. Losing to the Lakers 5-6. Warriors 5-7. So tough road stretch for the Rockets and end of the homestand for the Rockets. And now started off really nice at 5-1. Now you're 5-7 with losing 6 games in a row. But the Rockets bounce back on November 22nd when Dillon Brooks plays the Memphis Grizzlies, his old team, for the first time. The Rockets beat the Grizzlies on November 22nd, and now they're 6-7. November 24th, the Rockets lose to the Denver Nuggets, and they're 6-8. Then I have the Rockets on November 28th losing to the Dallas Mavericks. So now you're 6-9. Then I have them losing to the Nuggets again. I think one of those games is a play-in tournament game. The Nuggets, the November 24th game is a play-in tournament game. So I have them losing to the Nuggets 6-8. Mavericks lost 6-9. Nuggets again lost 6-10. Lakers again on December 2nd. I have the Rockets losing yet again, and now you're 6-10. And then the San Antonio Spurs at home. I have the Rockets bouncing back to win 2 games in a row here against the San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies at home. And now you're 8-10. But This is where a hard 3-game stretch comes on the road, and I think the Rockets lose all 3 games on the road, December 15th, December 17th, and December 18th against the Memphis Grizzlies, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Rockets lose all 3 of those games, and now they're sitting at 8-13. But this is where I think the Houston Rockets hit a little bit of a winning streak. I think the Rockets, they start a 2-game homestand. I think they beat the Atlanta Hawks, so they're 10-13. I think they beat the Dallas Mavericks. So you beat the Dallas Mavericks and the Atlanta Hawks. You're at 10-13. Then you face the New Orleans Pelicans. I think that one's a loss, and you're at 10-14. Then you play the Indiana Pacers at home. That's a win. You're at 11-14. Phoenix Suns at home. I'm going to say that's a loss. You're at 11-15. And that's December 27th. That's a back-to-back. But here's a little bit of a homestand here. And this is, I think, is a winning homestand for the Houston Rockets right here. So, Philadelphia 76ers, December 29th at home, win 12-15. New Year's Day against the Detroit Pistons, the twin brothers face off for the first time, Rockets, and that game is at 7 o'clock. That's another win, 13-15. You face the Brooklyn Nets on January 3rd at 7 o'clock at Toyota Center, win, 14-15. Then the Minnesota Timberwolves on January 5th, 2024, at Toyota Center, 7 o'clock, win. So you win 4 games in a row, and now you're back to 500 at 15-15. But then the last game of a homestand, I have the Rockets losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, and then first game of a long road trip, really long road trip, losing to the Miami Heat. So then the Rockets are now back to 2 games under 500 at 15-17, losing to the Bucks and the Heat. But then I have the Rockets winning two in a row on January 10th and January 12th against the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, and now they're back to 500 at 17-17. And then January 13th, I have the Houston Rockets going up to Boston and getting a huge win against the Boston Celtics. Ime Udoka's return to Boston, and I think the Houston Rockets and Ime Udoka get a huge win. I think these guys go out there in Boston and play for their coach and get the win, and it's 8. Now they're 18-17. January 15th and January 17th, I think those are 2 losses against the Sixers and the New York Knicks. So now you're 18-19. Then you're back at home on January 20th, 2024, and I think the Rockets get a win, and it's 19-9. Now you're 19-19. Then January 21st, I think the Boston Celtics get some revenge and beat you, and you're now 19-20. January 24th, 2024, against the Portland Trailblazers, I think the Rockets win, and now you're back to 500 at 20-20. Then I think the Rockets win 2 games in a row on the road at Charlotte and Brooklyn on the 26th and the 27th on a back-to-back, and now you're 22-20. Then you have a 3-game homestand against the Lakers, the Pelicans, and the Raptors. I think the Rockets lose the first 2 games against the Lakers and the Pelicans on January 29th and the 31st. But then you beat the Toronto Raptors on February 2nd at Toyota Center for Fred VanVleet's first game back, in Toronto. First game against his old team, and you finish the homestand at 23-22. But then you have a 4-game road stand, and I think the Rockets do pretty solid in this road stretch. I think the Rockets start off with a loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves to be 23-23, but then beating the Pacers on the road 24-23, beating the Raptors on the road 25-23, but then losing to the Hawks on the road on a back-to-back 25-24. Then you're back at home February 12, 2024 against the Knicks. I think that's a loss, and you're 25-25. And then the Memphis Grizzlies on the road. I think that's a loss. You're 25-26. Then the Pelicans on the road. This is the first game after the All-Star break. I'm going to say the Rockets get hot after the All-Star break. Start off with a win. You're 26-26. Phoenix Suns at home. I think that's a loss. You're 26-27. Then I have the Rockets beating the Oklahoma City Thunder at home, and that's on February 25th, 2024, and getting a win. Then they're 27-27. Then I have the Rockets losing three in a row against the Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder. 2 road games against the Suns and a road game against the Thunder. And with that, now they're 27-30. Then I have them losing a home game against the San Antonio Spurs. You can't beat the Spurs. You can't beat them every matchup. You've already won the first 2, so now you're 27-31, and you're starting to lose a lot of games. But then I have the Rockets bouncing back on a back-to-back against the Los Angeles Clippers and beating the Clippers, and now you are 28-31. Then I have the Rockets beating the Portland Trailblazers on March 8th, 2024, and you're 29-31. The Rockets losing to the Sacramento Kings, you're 29-32. But then I have the Rockets beating the San Antonio Spurs, you're 30-32. Then I have them beating the Wizards, you're 31-32. But then I have them losing to the Cavaliers at home on the 16th, you're 31-33. I have them beating the Wizards in Washington, you're 32-33. Beating Chicago at home, 33-33. Beating Utah at home, 34-33. Beating Portland at home, 35-33. Beating OKC on the road. Now you're 36-33. The winning streak ends against Utah in Utah, 36-34. Lose to Dallas, 36-35. Lose to the Timberwolves, 36-36. Lose to the Warriors on April 4th at home. You're 36-37. Lose to the Miami Heat in Miami, 36-38. Lose to Dallas on the road, 30. Now you're 36-39. Beat Orlando at home, 37-39, and then lose to Utah in Utah, 37-40. Beat Portland at home, 38-40. And then your final game of the season against the Los Angeles Clippers in Los Angeles, I have the Houston Rockets losing the final game of the season and going 38-41. Yes, I know there are 82 games in the regular season, but there are 3 games that, due to the play-in tournament, we don't know what those matchups will be for the Rockets. So there are 3 games in the Rockets schedule that have yet to be announced. So that's why I only have the Rockets at 38-41, because there are 3 games out of the 82 games of the Rockets schedule that we don't know about. So that's it for my record predictions. As of right now, all we know, because of the play-in tournament, I have the Rockets going 38-41, but we'll see what those other 3 matchups look like for the Houston Rockets once the play-in tournament is over. But yeah, using your thoughts on my predictions for the Houston Rockets. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.